everybody. It's Georgia Rose from Zencuda, and it is Monday at 7 o'clock, and here I am in the soul space. Thank you all for joining me. We've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to do some tarot cards, but first, of course, you guys know the drill. We have to share the show, and we also are going to do some astrology in the beginning because we've got so many things going on in the sky. I don't know if you guys have been feeling the shifts that are out there, but boy, it's a lot of energy, I have to say. So share the show, please, if you get a chance during this broadcast, because we want to really increase our viewership in our community. That helps us be seen by more people in the world, and then more people can find their soul space. So it is a rainy, cold day here in the northeast of the United States. And I ran in. We had a lot of traffic, flooded roads, but I ran in. I'm sorry I'm a couple of minutes late for my live. But, yeah, I should be a little more disciplined about that, but I'm not. Because those of you who know me know I like to just allow things to come naturally and be in my truth when I do the show. So sometimes it's a little more spontaneous than other times. But I'm going to jump into the astrology because the end of this week on Saturday, we have the second of the eclipses that we had this month. The first one was on March 14th, and that was in Virgo. And now we have the big eclipse in Aries. And this is the one that some of us have been waiting for, because this is the one that's going to really bring us a lot of new energy and a lot of emerging energy. However, because we still have Venus and Mercury retrograde, it's not going to clear the air as much as we might like. We're still going to have some fogginess. But I do want to say that this particular time frame that we're in, and I talk about on the show quite a bit in the astrology portion of the show that we do every week, and I can't stress enough for you guys how important and critical these times in our life are. We've got some things that are happening that put us in areas that we have never been in before. We're starting to go into new energy and new places in the universe. And boy, I think a lot of us are feeling it. So what does all that mean? Well, we're all undergoing changes. There's a lot of emotional conditioning and turmoil from the last 100 years, a century, that has been really governing and driving our lives. It's been making us, think about things in a certain way, do things in a certain way, and react to people and things and environments in a certain way. It's directed our whole life choices. And over the last few months, a lot of us have started to have awarenesses about those choices that we've made and the conditioning and the reasons why we do the things in our life, and we've started to make some changes. But we're still a little cloudy on exactly what all these changes are supposed to be and where we're supposed to go. We're going to get a dose of more awareness with this eclipse coming in on Saturday, and I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about the meaning and what you might be feeling and the best way to guide you. But I just don't even have the words to really describe how important this time is for us to all start to be in our truth and to really understand where our authenticity is. All of the things that intuitively or instinctively we always wanted to do in our life, but we've procrastinated about, or we haven't had the self-worth to do it, or we haven't believed in ourselves enough to do it. Those things are the things that the universe is really propelling us, compelling us, and supporting us to do right now. I see it in my friends near and far. I see it in my family members. I see it in people I work with. I see it all around. People around me are starting to want to do things in a different and new way. I myself have made a lot of changes. My energy is changing. The way that I approach relationships in my life in every form, whether it's my family or friends or coworkers, the way I communicate in life is really changing. Really trying to be more truthful and more authentic. This eclipse in Aries is ruled by Mars. It's going to be an energy that really supports us in taking up new space. It's an emerging energy. The Pisces energy that we have so many planets still in, and Venus retrograde is headed back there, and Neptune is in Pisces, where it's going to leave Pisces, where it's been since 2011. And the day after this very, very powerful eclipse in Aries, Neptune leaves Pisces and goes into Aries. Neptune in Aries is something that we don't really know what's going to happen. Can't tell you what's going to happen in your chart exactly when Aries energy encompasses Neptune and the planet Neptune starts to go there, because Neptune has not been in Aries for 160 years, actually 168 years. And so there is no one alive right now whose chart I would do who would have natally, the day they were born, Neptune in Aries. I know what Aries energy is, and I know what the planet Neptune is. But together, we have never experienced that in our lifetimes. So it's a big change. Aries as an archetype is an emerging energy, like I said. It's also an energy that asks us where we want to take up space. What do we want to allow to take up space in our life? It's about emerging into a new way of doing things. It's about our relationship with ourself. It's the first house in the zodiac. 0 degrees of Aries, where Neptune will be for the first time in 168 years, is the actual ignition and starting point of energy in the zodiac. To say this is a rebirth is a complete understatement. This is like a new world order and a new human being order for each one of us. And then, of course, Saturn will follow into Aries in a few months, as will other planets. And all the Pisces energy that we've all been dealing with, the cloudiness, the dissolution, the illusions, the dissolution, the dissolving, the feeling like we're out of bounds, feeling like we have no boundaries. All of those things are going to come into a very, very heightened energy in this eclipse. So one of the things that I started to think about as far as the Aries energy is, because Aries energy is ruled by Mars. And we are just coming off a huge Mars retrograde where we were all challenged to have awarenesses about some of the things that we've done in our life as far as our own boundaries and where we don't have boundaries, where our boundaries are authentic and where they're not, where we allowed ourselves to be in spaces that disempowered us instead of empowering us. That's huge in these last few months that we have come into those awarenesses. And where our own voice has been quieted and stifled, where we've allowed ourselves to be a victim instead of a victor. And so now in this eclipse, with Mars ruling Aries, and these planets in Aries, and the day after the eclipse, Neptune going into Aries, what we're going to be feeling is an awareness of where we have been dominant. But where those dominances, based on our past conditioning, our past belief systems, the cultures we were raised in, where did our need for dominance actually harm us? Where did our need for dominance, or to be dominant over a situation or a way of life or a paradigm or a conditioning or a belief system, where did it really not end up healthy? And how do we assert our dominance? You know, what do we use as dominance? Do we scream louder than anyone else? Do we become intimidating? Do we use our sexuality or our sex appeal? Do we use a feminine wile or our masculinity? How do we assert dominance in a false way? That's what's going to come out with this eclipse, very much. And we're going to all have to take responsibility and be really authentic in our truth about where we've allowed false constructs to create dominance complexes that really don't work. Because the most powerful way we can be dominant and the most powerful way that we can be strong is in our own agency, linked and synchronized to our authenticity and the truth of who we really are. What is our real belief system? What is the essence of us? Where do we want to take up space? We just had the spring equinox, 0 degrees of Aries. When the sun goes there, sun is in Aries now. And what happens during spring? I saw it when I pulled out of my driveway to come here to the show. My crocuses and my tulips and my spring flowers are starting to emerge from the dirt and spread their leaves and become blossoms and bloom. A cliche kind of a metaphor, but that's Aries energy. It emerges into a new space. It asks, where do I want to take up space? What have I allowed to take up space previously that I no longer can allow to take up space in my life? For those flowers, they allowed the dirt to take up their space. They went underground. They were dormant. They were struggling to be dominant. But until they came into their own true, authentic power and color, they weren't dominant against the soil. That's us in our lives. And that's the lessons and the awarenesses that we're going to have with these eclipses. There's other things going on with Venus in retrograde. Currently, it was in Aries, now going back to Pisces. And Venus is all about our values. So how does the way that we use complexes to be dominant or go into those power struggles, the things that we were taught in our life, how do we use our certain resources and aspects for dominance that are false, that are just a false construct? Maybe it's money. Maybe we try to dominate and make things transactional relationships, right? But that's not truthful. That's not really who we are. So wherever these complexes arise in your life, these things are going to come up. And now after this eclipse, the day after, when Neptune goes into Aries, these things are going to start to become a little bit less cloudy. And as the months go on and Venus comes out of retrograde and Mercury comes out of retrograde, then we'll have more and more clarity. In July, we have other planets that egress into signs. And now we've been in water and earth for many, many years. And now we go into fire and air in the signs. And air feeds fire, right? We've got Pluto in Aquarius, which is all about change and innovation and going into the new, things that we haven't tried before, embracing our own unique truth and our own uniqueness. And when that happens and Pluto really goes, it's 3 degrees of that sign now, when it really starts to go into Aquarius, it's going to be more and more and more about that for us. And it's no coincidence that we have all this energy over the last couple of months and now culminating with this eclipse in Aries to show us the way of that uniqueness, to show us the awareness of our personal truth. So it's very, very heavy times. It's not going to be easy. The things that are going to come into our awareness during this eclipse season are going to be really the truth of our higher self. And sometimes we want to run away from that. Sometimes things that we've never known or seen or felt or thought or spoke before are scary. But that's the new space. It's just like that flower that had to push through the dirt and come into a new space. That particular bloom never saw the sun before. It might be afraid of the light at first. It might shrink back a little bit. Maybe it gets a little wilted. Maybe it takes on too much sun. That's us right now. We're blooming, we're emerging energy into a new space, into new light, into new awareness, into new illumination. And it can be scary. The old emotional complexes and conditionings that we run are going to hold us back, just like a Mercury and a Venus in retrograde. But then when Saturn goes into Aries, it starts to say, no, I'm not going to be limited anymore. Now I'm in a fire sign, and I'm going to either burn the house down or I'm going to take these embers and make something out of the tinder that used to be our lives. We can no longer go back to the ashes. The things that we had to release and let go, let them go. They're not where you're supposed to be. Fate is ahead of you, not behind you. So this is an ignition point. Come March 29th into March 30th, when Neptune follows the eclipse into Aries. It's energy where we've never been before for 168 years. There is a reason why your soul chose to be alive in this lifetime to experience this time. This is the birth of a whole new evolution of species of human. So let go of the emotions. Let go of what is dimming your potential. Let go of what is disempowering you. And step into your own agency, your own potential, and the dreams that you can do. So Venus is now going into the 1st degree of Aries. It's headed back to Pisces. We've got the Sun and Mercury at 4 degrees of Aries. That's what we call a cazimi. The sun is lighting. Mercury, our minds, is heightened right now. That's a lot of emerging energy. And then Neptune right now, for the next few days, is co-joining the North Node and Saturn in Pisces between 23 and 29 degrees, the last degrees of a sign. The most potent power of a sign is those last degrees. If you have any planets in Pisces, in those last degrees of Pisces, you're probably getting a little bit of a, stormy sea right now. You're getting tossed around a little bit. But that's okay, because you're going to come out of this into a whole brave new world. Mars is at 21 degrees of Cancer squaring Chiron. That's where the emotion comes in. Chiron is the wounds. Mars is the healer. Mars wants us to use that old dominance complexes, those power struggles that we ran of where we wanted to be dominant, we wanted to be best, and no one's better than me, and I'm going to show you, and see, I'm better than her, and he's better than this one, and all those power struggles and dominance complexes. Now, Saturn and Pisces energy, Aries, Neptune, the moon, the sun, Saturn, all of it, Venus, Mercury, all comes in. And they all say in one way or another, is this really your value system? Is this really your truth? Is this really who you want to be? I think not. I don't think your soul came here to have power struggles. I don't think your soul came here to use money or, your masculine power or your feminine wiles or your sexuality or your intimidation or your belief systems imposed upon others as a dominance feature. I think your soul came here to use truth and love and your own agency and your soul space to find your own power and empower you. These are really amazing life lessons that we're having. This is about taking up new space in the energy and being really present in it. This is about seeing the reason in this eclipse of why you haven't been able to accomplish everything that you want and realizing that your power comes from within. This is about emptying out what you've outgrown. That's why we can't go back to the past. We've outgrown it. It just doesn't work for us anymore. All right? So merge the energy. By the end of May, Saturn will be in Aries. Jupiter will be in Cancer by June. And by July, Uranus goes into Gemini. And then we have a whole stage in the zodiac filled with fire and air. And we all know air feeds fire. Now is the time we should be prepping in order to get ourselves where we need to be to file our full potential and feel it and embody it and be where you want to be emotionally, be where you want to be in the relationships in your life, and be where you want to be in every aspect. And you're going to see people start to really let go of the material stuff. You're going to see people really start to go back to basics and the things that really make them joyful and happy in their lives. Mercury retrograde enters Pisces the day after the eclipse, so that's going to bring us a lot of inner contemplation. It's going to make us revisit these last few months of what came into our awareness, so that now with the other planet, Neptune in Aries, we can have that synchronicity of the Neptune in Aries bringing us a new perception of the things that our minds will be repeating while Mercury is in Pisces. So we think about the things we've been thinking about for the last few months, but now in a new energy because now Neptune is in Aries come the end of the week. So really, really cool week. I'm going to read my comments, and then we're going to go to cards because I promised you guys that. So I got Liz online, Sarah. Sarah, I have to apologize to you. I know you had booked something, and I didn't get the email until the day after. I don't know why that was. It never happened before, but something was going on. And Liz says if she pulls cards, okay, I'm going to do you first then. Gira, how are you doing? I hope things are going well with you. And Aries is in your 12th house. So I was going to say 12th house is Pisces energy in the natural zodiac. So with Aries being in your first house there, you are going to feel these eclipses very, very deeply. You've probably been feeling that for the last 6 weeks or so. What I will tell you is that that will pass and get easier, but just think about where it's happening. Be aware of what the universe is showing you that you are meant to release. And don't be afraid. Don't go into fear or anxiety because this is an energy where we totally have to take the leap off the cliff and go into the new, all right? Liz says, this upcoming energy makes a lot of sense to me. I want to know, if you go to cards, I am, if the new treatment for dizziness will work for me and if things can get better. Yes. So let's do Liz a card first, but I've got Nancy on here. Hey, Nancy, I forgot to send you the link today. And, oh, thank you for being so great, so generous about that, Sarah. So, okay, so I'm going to pull up some comments as well because I can probably read them better on my iPad. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle and pull cards for Liz, all right? And these, whoops. And what I will also tell you, Liz, is the last eclipse that we had was in Virgo. And you know Virgo is all about health. So look and see in your, if you have, I'm sure you do have your chart. If you look and see where Virgo is in your chart and also your 6th house, those would be the areas that would be really hot for you right now. But with this Aries energy in your chart, I think you have Libra in your chart, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember. I know your Taurus energy. First of all, Taurus will be leaving, Uranus will be leaving Taurus soon. So that's going to really change things up for you because Uranus in that sign for you the last few years has been creating a lot of shock and sudden change. So hopefully that will ease up in a little bit. And that happens, Uranus goes into Gemini in July. So that'll be better for you. All right. So Taurus, Libra, Aquarius. Oh, so you have Pluto in Aquarius now. And this Aries is opposite your sign. Like me, I'm a Libra. So Libra moon probably you have. Okay, so let's see for Liz's health and if she's going to come more into her own truth. Oh, see, we got the Lovers card. So for me, Liz, this kind of means that maybe there was some interference in the treatments that you're doing for the dizziness, but I think that will clear. Next card I got was the Hermit card, so it's shining light on that confusion. So if something doesn't seems like it needs clarification or adjustment, I'm getting the word adjustment because Virgo energy from the last eclipse is all about adjustment. So I feel like there was some kind of an interference in the treatment or something needs a slight adjustment. And either you just found out about it or you're going to be finding out about it very soon because the Hermit is holding up his light to that card, if you can see that. So that speaks to me of that. And then I have this card, which you know is the grief card. I don't think this is related to health in this reading. I feel like this is something else. Whether you've been very sad or depressed lately or someone around you has had a depression problem, that might go on for a little while, but I'm not getting that this is you. So this may go on for a little while, but I think it's going to ease up. Let me see what the next card says. Yes, because this is someone's doing this to themselves. So someone around you is, feeling a little bit depressed, something going on here. And I feel like it does lift when they realize through the awareness probably of this eclipse season that they have the power to come out of that sadness, that grief. All right. And yeah, because this is self-inflicted. The Devil card, this is the Capricorn card. This is the card of someone who is self-imprisoned. They have themselves in their own chains. I don't know if that's. I'm definitely getting your mom's energy around you, but I always get that. But I'm definitely someone around you has been going through a very hard time with sickness, depression, something like that. Maybe even some kind of a little bit of an addiction. It doesn't have to be alcohol or drugs. It could be, but something that they're very obsessed with. And I feel like this energy is trying to loosen up, but this person, because I don't feel this is you, but this person doesn't realize that they're the one like holding themselves in chain. They have the power to release themselves from whatever, struggle they're having. This card is for you. Oh, beautiful card. The Nine of Pentacles, which is abundance. And, this beautiful nostalgic person. And in this card, it's so funny because her hair is red. And you are my ginger. So you've got all this beautiful golden light in the background and all of this abundance. And I feel like because it just intuitively put it with these cards, which I feel like are you, these cards are not you. This is you here. This is showing me that there's a good outcome and to not try to step out of worry and just really, really positive and not just like fake positive, but really feel positive, like in yourself, So I'm really, thinking that is absolutely very important right now. I'm sorry, I'm just getting a lot in at once and I'm just trying to bring something up here. Yeah, if you're like really feeling like, well, this is something that feels familiar and things before it hasn't worked, this is going to feel new for you soon. It's not the same old thing. It's not, it's, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just not the energy of repetition to me. It feels like new energy. So in that situation, it's almost like it's going to change is what it feels like. I don't even know how to explain it, but it just feels like a very, very changeable energy, extremely changeable energy. All right. So I think it's going to change for the better. And that's to do with the health and the vestibular disorder. Yeah. Look at this card. Everything's behind you. You have like one last little hurdle and then everything's behind you. So I think this is a good read. And I'm going to pull one card for confirmation. You're not going to believe the card I got. Oh my gosh, you're going to love this. The Strength card. 8. 8s are so auspicious. You know that. Oh my God, look at all the gold behind you. This is Strength, the lion tamer. You're taming the lion. You're beating the beast. So that's amazing. That's a good reading for you, Liz. I hope that you take that positivity with you. All right. Yeah, the lion card comes out. I know. So really cool stuff. Let me put my glasses on. I'm just reading the comments. Yeah, spot on. Reading is spot on. I will let you later. Okay. Yeah, you can tell me later. Liz is in Florida. My Betty who moved away. I don't get to talk to her hardly ever. Oh, she's freaking out. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad you got the reading. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I feel it. So things are going to be better. But that person in your life that's really dark right now, they have the power to release themselves. They just don't realize it. I'm hoping this eclipse will kind of bring them a new emerging awareness of that. And that person is very powerful. They just don't really know it. All right. So who should I pick a card for next? I'm going to do some. I have 25 minutes left, so I'm going to pick a card for Sarah, and then I'm going to do signs because I said I would do that on the blurb, and then you know how the time goes, guys, right? So I'm going to pick some cards for Sarah. They're telling me to pick 3 cards for you and a confirmation card, Sarah. So I'm going to do 3 cards. Cut the deck. Okay. Sarah, the first card I have is the 6 of Pentacles. 6 of Pentacles means you have abundance coming to you. This is a card of usually actual abundance, like coin, like money. Next card is the 6 of Swords. And I have to tell you, it's so funny because all these 6s, 6 is usually the number for health, everyday routine, things like that. And you got 2 6s in a row. 6 of Swords is walking away or leaving an emotional situation. Like, it's time to fly. You've outgrown this. Enough is enough. Stop repeating the same old thing. Gotta go, get it on. And then I have the Page of Wands. So this is a younger male. It's somebody who's got some fire in his belly. This actually is an Aries card. Wands is a fire sign in the tarot. And this is about new energy. This person comes in, gives you like a message. Pages are messages. And it is a new emerging energy. So whatever you've been repeating, it's telling me take the money and run. I don't know why it's saying that, but whatever abundance you can take it and run. Stop doing the same old thing. A lot of new energy and confirmation card, because they told me to pick 3 and a confirmation card. Confirmation is that things have been really tough. You've been battling a lot of stuff lately, and this is the competition. From other people and battling things. This is a card, and it's right on top of the card where leaving an emotional situation. This is almost like, and it's a 5, which is change. This is almost like leave the battle. You're a little battle scarred. You're tired of fighting. Just get in the boat and frickin' float down the river. You do not need to be fighting this fight. You don't need to have this resistance in your life. Whatever it is that you are resisting, surrender to it and go and live the life you want to live, make the decision you want to make, be happy where you can be happy, because this is not an energy presently. The present energy that has you in turmoil or feeling defeated, exhausted, whatever word you want to use, is an energy that you need to move away from. And you know how to do it. And I have a feeling that you probably even know what it is. And that's it for Sarah. So I'm going to pull some cards for all of my air signs. And air signs, you know who you are. Air signs are Libra, right? Who else is an air sign? Anybody know? Come on, this is an astrology test. What's air? Air. Okay, air signs. Libra is an air sign, right? Gemini is an air sign. And what else is an air sign? I don't see anybody in the comments. Got to look at my comments. I also want to tell you guys about, I just thought of it. Hold on one second. Just looking at the chart at the moment because I want to tell you, today, Sun just went into Aries, but I wanted to tell you, Venus is in the 1st degree of Aries. Venus is also going back to Pisces, as Mercury is. So that's going to really bring in the energy of repeating some of the stuff that we went through in the last couple of months, okay? All right. Yeah, I knew that I wanted to say there was another thing I wanted to mention. Okay. So this is for my air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Got a lot of people on tonight, just looking at the comments. Okay, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, air signs. This is for you, babies. For your spring. This is a spring reading for the air signs, Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. I've got the Queen of Pentacles, which is actually the Libran Queen. The Queen of Pentacles is Libra sitting on the throne. So this goes for all of you, my air signs. You have the power. We've got a lot of fire in the sky, and what feeds fire? Air. So don't try to be disempowered or go into old ways. You want to go forward. Wheel of Fortune says you're going to be balanced, my air signs. And especially for the Gemini, Aries, when Uranus goes into your sign, that doesn't have to be shock and awe in a bad way. That can be some really great awarenesses. Uranus is the great awakener. So you might be getting ready for that this spring. And then I have the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is a death card in a way, because if you see this person is, got all the swords in his back. He's been, beaten by the enemy, and all this blackness is in the top of the card. But what it really symbolizes is the death of the old and starting the new. The next card that I'm going to pull is looking out at the world in the future. So that's really what this card means. Leave the old behind, air signs. I know sometimes our air signs can get too much in their heads, especially with Mercury in retrograde right now and Venus in retrograde, because Libra is ruled by Venus, and that's an air sign. So try and stay out of the mercurial, the head space. Go into the heart space in this energy, because going into the heart space is really going to bring you into the authenticity that the emerging energy of the springtime and the Aries eclipse wants you to do. So for my air signs here, you are literally the queen and kings on the throne. You've got the power. You're going to feed the fire of all this fire energy that's going to be in the sky. You have the ability to balance things if you stay out of your head. Don't get too caught up. And also look towards the future. Let the past go. Let the past die. Look towards the future. Don't go into victimhood. If you look up, you're going to see a lot of abundance. If you look down, you're going to go into the same old ways. So really make sure that you are definitely making strides to look into the future. So I have Pamela on, who she says that Aries is in her 5th house, and on checking. Okay. Aries in the 5th house is a fire sign, and the 5th house, lucky you, the 5th house is children and being childlike, and that joy we have as children. But the 5th house also is sex for fun. It's not like the 8th house sex is like very deep, meaningful. 5th house is sexuality. It could also be unique in that way. The 5th house, Aries, there, you have a lot of creativity, like a fire lights under you for that creativity. In this energy, your creativity is going to be awakened, and that could be either creating something artistically, or it could just be an idea that you have. And it could also be creating yourself to emerge into new space, depending on the chart. But that 5th house is all about creativity, and it's also about bringing that creativity and your presence into the world and really embracing who you are. All right. So that would be, if you have this eclipse happening in your 5th house, that's what will be happening. So back to our air signs, Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. Try and release that past energy. Let go of it. It's not going to serve you. I know that's cliche, but what I'm going to tell you is you are going to find, especially for my air signs, you're going to find that things start to really loosen up and be more refreshing, because we also are going to have some other planets change signs and go into air this year and in this spring. So take that with you, and look in your chart and see where Aries falls for my air signs, because that's going to be a really important place where you're going to feel this new energy emerging and things igniting for you. Now I am going to do fire signs. Let's do the fire signs. So fire signs, are Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo, right? So if you are a fire sign, this is going to affect you quite a bit, because we have a lot of signs, a lot of planets in fire signs right now, including the sun. And Mercury and Venus, after they finish their retrogrades, will go back into Aries. We also have Chiron, the planet of the wounds and the healer, that brings out our things in Aries. So you're going to have a lot of fire in the house, my fire signs. So let's see what this spring is going to bring for you. I'm shuffling up really good because I don't want any trouble with my fire signs. Oh, fire signs. 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands is all about action and moving forward. You have fought a good fight. You've bested your enemies, and you are moving on. You are there ready to empower yourself, and the disempowerment years of disempowerment, the years of disillusionment are over. You're ready to move forward. The Temptress. Oh my gosh, number 3, which is so beautiful. This is actually a Venus card, the Temptress. And it's so funny. We were just talking about the 5th house and fire. So this card is symbolic of really coming into your creativity and bringing it out into the world. But it's also about our values. The Temptress knows her own heart. She knows what's truly important to her and goes after it. So just remember, there's a lot of emerging energy now, and you can do with it what you want. There's a lot of magic in the air with that. But you want to make sure that what you do create magic with is authentic to you. Don't be impulsive, my fire signs, especially if you're in Aries in this eclipse, because we will have a lot of impulsivity out there in the world. You want to slow your roll and really, really do what you need to do. And my beautiful fire signs, you have the power to have a soulmate relationship and a family. This is a beautiful soulmate card. The 10 of Cups, which is one of the most beautiful cards in the deck. You see a rainbow in the background and these beautiful celebration in the foreground in this card and all the light coming into the background. This card is symbolic of really having a dream come true, whether that's in a personal relationship, a business, or just a goal that you have in your life. So for fire signs, you are very powerful right now. But make sure that you understand, like I was talking before about dominance, make sure you understand that your real power lies in love, right? You know, fire signs, a lot of times the emerging energy can be very impulsive. It wants to take up space. It wants to be in the front of the line. But sometimes being in the back of the room is where we really learn and where we really have our wisdom. The Leo lion tamer doesn't tame the lion with a whip. He never uses the whip. He talks to the lion and he makes the lion understand the reason behind doing what he wants him to do. That's true power. So remember, the power of love is much greater than the love of power, fire signs, because I know you can get kind of frisky. And then we have this beautiful Ace of Pentacles, which is all about abundance. You have the hand of God holding out a gold coin. And this is all of your choices being good, your wishes coming true. But you have to do the work. It's showing you that you have the power to have that abundance and have all of those things come to you. But you really have to temper yourself and make sure that you're not all fire. You know, slow burning embers are always better than a huge forest fire out of control. Next up, we're going to do our water signs. Our water signs, just checking my comments. Our water signs, of course, are Cancer and Pisces. We talked a lot about Pisces tonight. And okay. Whoa, my phone's vibrating in my pocket. So our water signs, I'm sorry. Our water signs are Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. I love Scorpio energy. It's been so abundant in my life. Scorpio gives us the power to dig in the dirt and find our true thing. And don't forget, the fire signs, if you have Scorpio in your chart, fire signs, the fire is what gets the phoenix to rise from the ashes. So, okay, water signs, we got the same card again, the 10 of Swords. Remember, the 10 of Swords is simply a card, even though it is death, it's a card of the death of the past. It's like the card of, okay, the war is over, that period is over, the worst is over. Okay, and then again, same card I got, only this time in reverse. So for my water signs, you're still in a little bit of emotion. My Pisces and Scorpions and Cancers, you're still in a little bit emotion, a little bit of the fog, which you'll be for a little while. It'll get better and better for all of us. So this is showing that you haven't started to look towards the future yet, and you need to do that more. Okay, because the past is leaving and it ain't coming back. Again, got to look up. The abundance is here, but you're out in the cold. You don't see that there are things around you that want to give you abundance and light and the gold, but instead you're thinking of your challenges and your detriment and your deprivation. You got to look up and find the fire. And this is the 3 of Pentacles, which is all about coming into an energy that you understand in a new perception. This is the 3 men out in front of the cathedral, like preaching, being preached to. So give yourself the compassion you need to understand what you need from yourself, because this is the soulmate relationship. So for my Pisces, Scorpios, and Cancers, you got to release that past. Let it die a nice, beautiful death. Look towards the future, because underneath all of this fog and, you know, healing that deprivation, the loss, the grief that you've experienced in your life, underneath all that, coming into the future, is this beautiful soulmate relationship with Archangel Gabriel actually smiling down on this cup with the 2 cups of love. So really important water signs to release the past. During this new moon eclipse is a great time to do it. I'm going to go to our affirmations in a minute before I end the show, and I'll put those up on my social media so that you guys know that you can use your affirmations for this new moon solar eclipse. So I'm going to do really quickly my earth signs, which is Libra, Capricorn, and Taurus. Libra, Capricorn, and Taurus. You see me shuffling. I'm not a good shuffler. Libra, Capricorn, Taurus. Okay, first card for Libra, Capricorn, Taurus, you got the Hermit. Shining his light somewhere. Then I've got the Emperor sitting on the throne. So this is about, for my earth signs, this is really about you taking time to be grounding yourself, not just in earth, really in earth and outside, but really grounding yourself in your own introspection. Go back and realize what you're outgrowing, what you can no longer keep in your life, what has to go, and where you're going in the future, and really ground yourself in that energy. You've got the Nine of Pentacles here, which again can be a nostalgic energy, but it's the beautiful queen, the mother image, nurturing yourself in order to move forward in your life. So for my earth signs, this spring is going to be a time of deep introspection for you. You may not want to join the party. You may not want to go out so much, but that's okay, because Queen of Cups, you're going to actually give yourself the agency and the strength and the solitude that you need to come into your truth and come into your authenticity. So for my earth signs, take some time out. Take some time out and go into a place where you're really discovering your own truth and bringing that strength of that truth and agency and full potential, your sovereignty, into a new world, because you're the high priestess. So the earth signs, this is how you end up. The high priestess is a guru. It's someone who is in charge of their own life. It is someone who is a Zenkuda, really, really strong about powerfully protecting their own Zen and their own peace. So earth signs, you've got a little bit of internal work to do. You need to take time to really go into yourself and spend some time alone. So I'm going to put our affirmations up on the screen now. If Carmine will do that for me. He's back there today. And you guys know, I do an affirmation every week of the month, so that at the end of the month, when we have our new moon, we can use these affirmations. And these are designed specifically for the energy of each of the weeks that passed this month, when we had our full moon into the new moon. And they are designed for this eclipse. So I'll put them up on social media when we're done. So the first one is, I have the power to create the life I want. Number 2 is, I release what no longer serves me with gentleness and ease. Number 3 is, I embrace the flow of new energy coming towards me. And tonight is, and our last one for this week and the eclipse is, I emerge and thrive in a new space. So those are our March affirmations. I'm so glad that you guys are tuning into the soul space. Every week we have more and more viewers, and I know that's because you guys have been saving and sharing the show. And you can also, if you ever miss a show or you want to share a show with somebody, you can go on my website, zenkuda.com, and all the shows are automatically put there once they're up on my YouTube channel, Zenkuda. Also, if you go to my YouTube channel, I have other videos. Like this week, I'll be doing a video specifically about this eclipse energy, and that'll be up in a couple of days. And also, if you want a reading, whether it's astrology or a tarot card reading or a mediumship reading, to contact someone that you love that is on the other side, you can do that through my website. You can book right through there and pay online, and you will be given a time and a day for your reading. Thank you so much, guys. I look forward to seeing you again in the soul space next Monday night at 7 o'clock. And do please subscribe, and I will put the affirmations for our beautiful new moon eclipse in Aries on Friday. That's on Saturday, the 29th, the new moon eclipse in Aries on the 29th of March. I'll put those affirmations on the Zenkuda Soul Space site on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you next Monday. Hi, everybody. It's Georgia Rose from Zenkuda, and here is our beautiful new website, zenkuda.com. So I want to show you a little bit and give you a tour of this beautiful site that we have. And everything is all in one place now, and you can do everything Zenkuda right on our website. So when you log into the homepage, there's a little space here where you can go right to Zenkuda Astrology, online classes, or book a reading or coaching session with me. Not only do I offer astrology readings and coaching sessions, but I also do tarot work and all kinds of things to help you get in touch with your own soul space and living Zenkuda. There's also a place here where I describe my journey and what it was like for me to actually found the Zenkuda community and be able to bring you all of the healing techniques that we do and the philosophies of evolutionary astrology, spiritual wisdom, and yoga. And you can read about what my journey was like. And in addition to that, if you go on to book a reading, you could actually book a reading for any session that you really would like to have. For instance, a 1-hour astrology chart reading, a tarot card reading. I also do synastry chart readings for couples. And I can also do a long-distance healing meditation and Reiki session. And you can even purchase our Circle of Light Oracle cards, which were created by myself in order to put healing and light into your day. If you go back up, there's also a space where we're going to be putting our online classes. Those will be very, very soon. If you'd like to be informed about those online classes, about astrology and spirituality, yoga, all sorts of things, you can join our wait list and just give us your email, and we'll be sure to let you know exactly when classes will be starting. And this button here brings you right to the Soul Space podcast. You can now watch the Soul Space live or past Soul Space podcast right on our zencuda.com page. You can listen to them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or on YouTube and enjoy every minute and never miss a show. So I hope you'll look at this beautiful website. I'm also writing blogs about my journey, and we're in the process of importing all the older blogs that I've written in the last 5 to 10 years right on our Rose blog page, which is my beautiful blog. And you can, anytime you want, just come in and read all about my own journey to finding Zencuda. If you want to work with me in a small or large group, or book me for reading, or doing a gallery style reading, or a public speaking event, or even a retreat, you can do that on our Work with Georgia page. And hopefully we can help you create your future with some coaching or some astrology workshops. So that is our beautiful zencuda.com site. I hope you'll be on there. We're also developing a space for community on there where you can learn more about astrology and spirituality and all kinds of things, and we can support each other on our beautiful, beautiful journey to finding our own soul space and living Zencuda.